Blind Faith Live, real people, real miracles. I'm Philip Keller. Issam's Insights with Dr. Issam, naming the physician of unshakable faith, coming up in a moment. A reminder that complete new episodes of Blind Faith Live available every Tuesday with new miracle moments and Issam's Insights. In this segment, we get into angels a little later on in the conversation about the role of angels, the different jobs they have, actually. But we start with a book that was out a while back called Proof of Heaven by the neurologist Evan Alexander. It's a really interesting book. Highly encourage you to read that book. But we discuss how the book is actually not proof of heaven, but proof of purgatory, based on how his experience began and ended and what he didn't experience. This is Issam's Insight with Dr. Issam Nemeh on Blind Faith Live. Real people, real miracles. One of the interesting things that happen in the book is that when he first gets to this other place, it's dark and gloomy and gunky and horrible and fearful, and then he kind of rises out of the muck into the brightness, the lightness, this more heavenly experience. Explain, and maybe this will get back to the neurologist, where he actually was.
He actually experienced the second heaven,
which we call purgatory. That's middle stage place.
We call it purgatory, and on that level, there are levels there. Now, the closer to this world, the more murky it is, the darker it is, because that's the abode of those evil ones, you see. And the closer you are to the third heaven, the more light. And he had the experience. I mean, his experience was definitely positive. The only thing that he did not experience was the Lord himself. Maybe he saw it from a distance, but it was not defined at all for him. And I think he's going to be led into that place. You know, as God was directing him towards that.
Had he made it to the third heaven, which we call heaven, which we call paradise, out of purgatory and into heaven, he would have seen Jesus. He would have experienced what other things?
He would experience Jesus, like many others did. It will be clear cut. He will recognize it. And he won't have any doubt about what he experienced. Not only this, he called whatever light he saw home. So for me as a Christian, he did not see the Lord. You know.
One of the things that happens in the book is and I don't want to blow the end of the book here, but there is a girl that is giving him a tour, and she keeps saying to him, "It all boils down to love." She said, as you have said, it all boils down to love. And she mentioned other things too, forgiveness and whatnot, but it still all boils down to one thing, being love. When you have something like that, a girl giving you a tour of the place, if you will, is she also on that level, or could she come from heaven to that level?
She could be right from the third heaven coming to that level. Actually, the way I saw when I saw the story, and I started reading that book, and I saw some interviews about him. I was interested in his experience to see what he has to say. It became very clear cut for me that God wanted him to be directed towards Jesus. Okay, and I think he's going to reach that level. Definitely, he will have that experience. I mean, having that sister being present there, and it was sent by Jesus himself. Then not only this, in talking about the love, and he felt the peace, because on his way up, when he went through the murky place, he had a very bad feeling, you know. Then the closer to the third heaven, he started having the good feeling, you know. So
see, I think most of us don't have that sense of purgatory. We don't have that sense that there is the murky, there's still something to be learned there. There's still some kind of trial going on there, some, as you say, state of mind that's going on there. I don't know that most of us realize that it's also murky there, that there are levels of purgatory as well.
There are definitely levels. Just like in here, and even on this earth, there are levels. I mean, look at our experiences. The ones that are stuck with the world, they have the bad experiences, you know. And here, even though we are on this earth, by surrendering ourselves and having the faith, we experience even heaven right here on this earth.
But when someone dies and goes to, let's say, purgatory, that's like, talk about entry. It's like you just made it. If you got into the second heaven, but it's that bad, feels that bad. You barely just made it then, didn't you?
Yes. And, the state of mind, when you are in purgatory is such, is so focused on everything that you are attached to when it comes to this earth. And it's so hard to get rid of it. You have to really struggle,
Because you don't have your body. This is all spiritual. This is all of the mind. And somehow you have to do a mind shift to get you to that higher level and ultimately the third heaven.
Exactly. And you have to make up that mind. And there are experiences in there. Like we said before, there are levels, But not only this, I mean, the nature of the suffering is such because you could discern the third heaven. Do you remember that?
You can see paradise from where you are.
You could see, remember the Lazarus and the poor guy and the wealthy guy. One was, down and one was up, and he looked at him and he saw him right in Abraham's, bosom. And he asked the Lord to just, send him to my brothers. And you remember the saying that Jesus said, it tells us so much. Yes, they do see. They do have that awareness of the third heaven. When your life is going in a certain direction and God wants to reveal something to you that could change that direction, then those things are revealed through angels or whatever. You see, it's different from when you are looking for an answer. Because the other way, it's conveyed and it comes during the right moment and the right time. Things that are revealed that will be playing a positive role when it comes to you being redirected towards the right path.
So you're putting it along with the rest of be still, and it will come to you.
Exactly.
As opposed to asking for it.
Exactly. And here the nature of our relationship with the Lord is such, we accept anything that comes into our life. And based upon that, it becomes very clear that here, if you are consulting, you are using your own wishes, and it defies everything we stand for as believers. Here we surrender our life totally to Jesus, and He reveals things accordingly, in order for us to always to be redirected towards the right path.
Do you believe that we should ever ask for a sign, or don't worry about it, it's coming anyway, whether you ask or not?
Well, it depends on the faith that we have. If you have a perfect relationship with God and you surrendered yourself, you'll never ask for anything. You are satisfied with anything that comes your way.
It's a sign of weakness, but God is merciful.
God is merciful. I mean, here you are running and asking for answers, and you have good intentions, and God will do it in such a way in order for you to be redirected again, in order for you to reach a point where you are completely surrendered. Let's put it this way. So it's not wrong to ask the Lord, for anything like this. Show me a sign, I mean, you go back to the Bible, there are a lot of things like that, where they were asking the Lord for the sign and stuff like this, and God does provide that.
And just one final thing on angels, guardian angels. Do we have guardian angels? Do we always have angels around us? If we have a lot of evil in us, do they stay around? The jobs angels have, a little bit more about their jobs and who they are.
Yeah, there are so many categories, and it doesn't mean that one angel is completely different from the other, or one is higher than the other. It depends on the function that is assigned to them. And the assignments are many. You have messengers, you have powers, angels that control the elements. Everyone is assigned to a different function. That's where the variety comes from. Now, when it comes to having guardian angels, It depends on what kind of place we are in. Now, if we are worldly and we belong to this world, then you have a lot of bad angels hovering around you. Okay. Now, if you belong to Christ, then the good angels will be hovering around you. Not only this, the experience of those angels as a consciousness, like we talked about before, depends on the observation of what is happening. They are learning, actually. They are learning from us, from our experience. Because here the consciousness is only spiritual in nature. And the mystery of the sun, where everything exists, was not revealed to them. So they were not able actually to understand the physical consciousness itself. That's why, like St. Paul put it, and God designed the church in order for it to convey knowledge and wisdom to the authorities in heavenly places, to those angels. So where I belong to Christ, those are the hover around us. We have definitely a guardian angel then. And that angel is a power, and they have a job to preserve your life.
With that in mind, I'm going to pop in right there because you just reminded me of something. Every now and then you hear a story of somebody who they're drowning. They're in a lake and they're drowning and they're about to die. And suddenly they feel this hand take them and bring them up out of the water and there's nobody there and that kind of thing. And they attribute it to an angel. Now, you have mentioned how the good guys and the bad guys can't what's the word? They can't infiltrate. They can't affect directly. In a moment like that, can an angel do something like that? The good angel always according to the will of God. When your time is not yet, then the angels will play a role. I mean, look at the Acts, how angels released them from prison, how angels protected them, and so on. I mean, always the act depends on the will of God in them doing whatever they are assigned to do. Drowning, then definitely I see Jesus behind it. You see, I see the Lord behind it, assigning that angel to do. And it's a part of their personal experience too. They enjoy it. You see, doing the good work. Thank you, Dr. Issam Nemeh, the physician of unshakable faith, on Blind Faith Live. Real people, real miracles. I'm Philip Keller.